In this video, I want to explain what the number one mistake that I used to make was as a coach. Because I'm 44 now, I started coaching when I was 24, so I've been kind of working with players for quite a long time. And obviously my knowledge has improved dramatically in that time. The reason that I'm going to be explaining this mistake is because it's something that I see from a lot of coaches out there, and it's something that can really stall and halt players' progress. So if you're working with a coach, it's useful to know whether this is going on. So hopefully you find the video helpful. If you do, it'd be great if you give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, it's much appreciated if you could do that as well. So the mistake that I used to make was overcoaching. I used to overcorrect the players that I was working with. Now, don't get me wrong, I was able to help a lot of players, but I could potentially have helped them a lot more and helped them improve more quickly if I'd have understood what I'm going to explain to you in this video. So overcoaching is when you basically try and give too many corrections at any one time. So potentially I'd be working with a player and I'd be talking about the unit turn, and then they do a great quality unit turn, and then 2 seconds later on the next shot I'd be going, okay, right, now we need to think about creating the racket lag, we need to think about the shape of your swing, and then 2 seconds later I'd be like, okay, no, but now you need to keep your head still through contact. So I'd be giving them all this information, and like I said, I was able to help some people, but based on how our brains and how our bodies learn, that's just too much information. The way that we operate, we can only focus on so much information at any one time, and if we try and think about and do too many things, the end result is we don't really get the results that we want out of it. So when you're trying to improve some aspect of your technique, whatever it is, you really need to focus 100% on whatever that thing is. So the way that I teach players to go about it these days, and the way I go about it within my own game, is you find the limiting factor within your stroke at the moment. What's the first thing that's going wrong? So you want to think about your shots as a sequence or a cycle of events, starting with watching your opponent preparing for their shot, trying to time your split step so that you land just after contact. We've then got an immediate unit turn with a pivot step, some kind of footwork to help us set up. We have to set up the right distance from the ball. We're then going to initiate our swing. We're going to swing, contact, follow through, and then recover. And that's the cycle that repeats itself over and over again. Well, you know, obviously the contact is the most important part, but I can't necessarily spend all my time thinking about the contact, because the stuff that comes before it is what leads to the contact. So what makes more sense from a kind of a logical progression side of things is to find the first problem. What's the first thing that's going wrong? So for example, if there is a problem and I'm really preparing late for my shots, then I know I have to fix that first. The end result is I want a good contact, but obviously if I'm preparing really late every time and I'm not in position to start my swing in time, that's going to lead to a poor quality shot. So maybe I might need to focus on preparing sooner, or maybe I might need to focus on my unit turn or the spacing and where I'm setting up for my shot, and I have to give that all my focus, and I have to evaluate my performance based on that thing. So if I've identified the thing that I need to work on is the way that I'm doing my unit turn, I then have to evaluate my performance on that. So if I'm working with a coach and they're drop feeding me, or they're feeding a ball from up close, or they're feeding the ball from the net, all I'm thinking about is, okay, I've got to get that unit turn, and then my coach needs to give me feedback on that. So they're saying, yes, you did a good unit turn, or no, you didn't do a good unit turn. And if I didn't do a good unit turn, they need to tell me to refocus on doing my unit turn. Where things go wrong is if I'm working with that coach, I'm meant to be working on the unit turn, I do a great unit turn, and then the coach says, yeah, but you didn't do this, or yeah, but you didn't do this, or yeah, but you didn't do this. And that leads to confusion in my mind and prevents me thinking about the thing that I'm trying to think about. So this is just a really important thing to understand, that if you're working with a coach and they're giving you so many different coaching cues, just try and stay disciplined and try and stay focused on one or two things that are the underlying problem. Now, where coaching can be tremendously important is there's really two things about it. The first one is providing you with the right level of difficulty in terms of the feed. That's one of the hardest things when it comes to improving. If you're rallying with a low-level player and they're really inconsistent, the ball's flying in different places, sometimes that is just too challenging for you to be able to focus properly on the thing that you need to focus on. And that is one of the main benefits of having a coach. They can feed the ball in a specific position at a specific level of difficulty and allow you to focus for long enough. And then the other benefit of having a coach is that they can provide you feedback. Ideally, your coach should really be recording you from time to time, because most people learn much better when they see themselves on camera, but obviously that slows down the process. So that's where a coach can be really useful. You can hit your shots and they can be providing you about feedback as to whether you did that thing correctly or not. But like I said, just make sure that they're only providing feedback on one or two key underlying problems, rather than changing the boundaries every time and kind of leading to a distraction. So hopefully what I've just explained makes sense. Now, if you did find this video interesting and you would like to learn more about kind of how to apply coaching science to be able to improve your technique more easily, I highly recommend my Neuro Tennis Challenge. This is a 5-day event that I run semi-regularly. It's completely free, but on day one, we dive in deep to helping you to figure out what the underlying problems with your strokes are, and then talking about how to structure your practice to improve your technique. The other thing that we do on this challenge, and this is basically the rest of the week, is we do brain-based training to improve your skill. Because yes, you've got to focus on the right thing during your practice, but then your body also has to be capable of doing the thing that you're trying to do. So as an example, if we are someone that prepares late, normally that's because the visual system isn't able to read the flight of the ball quickly enough. So the real way to improve is to train that and improve its function. And that's what I start to teach you how to do in this free 5-day challenge. So I'll place a link to it down in the description, or you can go to neurotennis.net/challenge to learn more and register. Okay, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments about anything that I've talked about in this video, or anything else you need help with, leave a comment down below, and I'll catch you next time.